Hello, class. Today we are going to talk about business software. These are the objectives of the course for today. Explain the difference between application software and system software. So we have two kinds. We have the application and then we have the system software. Enumerate the different generations of programming languages and explain how they differ. Cite the latest major developments in application and system software, and identify and explain the roles of web programming languages. So these are kind of this is what we will be talking about today, and it's a little bit interesting. And then these are other ideas. Explain the types and uses of website design tools. Clarify the difference between proprietary software and open source software. List the characteristics that are important in evaluating packaged software applications like the Office for business use. Understand the problem of software piracy and how it affects the business and consumers. Now, what are applications? Applications are the programs used for productivity to make you more productive. What do you mean by productivity? For you to be able to use less time to do more work. That is, you're productive if you use less resources to do more work. And to be able to do this using the computer, you need what we call a software. A series of now, what is a software? Let's say you want to add 1 plus 1. Okay. Do you have to teach the computer on how to add 1 plus 1? No, you don't. Because there is already a computer program, a series of instructions that it's called a program that will um, that the computer knows how to add 1 plus 1. And then we have two major types of software. We have the application software, like how do you add 1 plus 1, or like Excel is an application software. And then we have the system software. A system software is the one running the application in the computer. Okay, so we have these two kinds of programs, software programs. They mean the same thing. Now, um, how do you how does the computer read it? If they It's like a human being. It's like a human being right now. I'm telling you, I'm using the English language as instruction to tell you about the about these software programs. Now, instead of using the English language, we are the computer understands the computer language, a computer language. Now we have so many kinds of languages that the programmer, the one who wrote the instructions for the computer, is using. First of all, we have the machine language. These are consisting of zeros and ones. Okay, and then we have the assembly language. easier to program than the machine language using words. Okay, because instead of using zeros and ones, which is kind of very ridiculous and hard to do. So we have an assembly language, and it's using words that the programmer, the human being who programs the computer can understand, and it will be easier for him to program the computer, and then that those words are changed to machine language. This is kind of a high level programming language. So these are the languages used by the programmer to be able to teach the computer or give instructions to the computer. Okay. Now, software development kits. These are the hey, how can I make this easy? Okay, it's always like, how can I make it easy question. So we have software development kits that will help the programmer develop more to make it the writing of programs easier. Okay, and some of them are COBOL, Fortran, BASIC. Okay, these are the third generation known as procedural languages. And then now we have the fourth generation of languages. Hey, let's make it easier again. It's uh, it's used to speed up develop of the development process, built around database management systems, include many pre-programmed procedures, and now when you're giving instructions, like right now I'm trying to give you instructions on this, um, I we have to check if you guys are understanding what I'm saying. Okay, and then I will listen to this again and see if I was able to make it right. Now, when the programmer is writing a computer language, a computer program, and then he wrote all the program, and then he tries to make it run, and like adding 1 plus 1. Now the answer should be 2, but if it's adding 1 plus 1, the answer is 3. There's a problem with the instructions. So now the process of correcting those instructions is called debugging. So that is how to correct those instructions. Okay. And so this is the evolution of programming languages. You have first generation, second generation, third generation, fourth generation, and the human language it's like almost like telling the computer what to do. Okay. Now, what are the advantages of the last one, the human languages? Ease of learning the language. It's very easy for the human being to learn it and teach the computer. It's like, hey, how can you learn Japanese? Okay. Ease of programming. Programming is giving instructions to the computer. Significantly shorter code, like one or two codes only, or symbols that you use, and the computer will be able to understand it. Now, ease of debugging, ease of correcting the program. Debugging is correcting the program. Ease of maintenance, example modification of a procedure, like 1 plus 1. How will the computer do that? Now, what are the disadvantages of this higher? Less control over the software, less efficient memory use, programming runs more slowly. So there's a lot of memory to be used to be able to retain those instructions by the computer. It's just like a human being. We have to maintain a lot of memory to be able to understand these things, anything that we want to learn. Now, visual programming languages, create a screen object by selecting icons from a palette. Okay, these are some of the examples of these are Microsoft Visual Basic, Embarcadero, Delphi, Microfocus COBOL, ASNA, and Visual C++. Me, I like Visual C++. It's a language that that I can easily use to give instructions to the computer, and then I can save it easily, and the computer will know what to do. Okay, of course, my Microsoft, this was the first one that I learned, but it keeps on Microsoft keeps on changing it, and I'm having problems with it. Okay, so the developer can still work at the code level. Okay, and then object-oriented programming. Okay, this is easier to let's make it easier again. Okay, huh? So these are object-oriented programming, provide modular approach to programming. What are the advantages of this? Ease of maintenance, because input, processing, and output. That's the way it goes. Okay, efficiency in the application development. Object contains data elements like data members and members to manipulate the data. Now, some of you would like to go into programming. Okay, and you will be looking at all of these languages, and what is it that you really want to use? Okay, what do you like to use to um, to do this? Okay, so object-oriented advantages requires less code than any other languages. Okay, requires less time programming in other languages, enhances the program modularity and reusability, makes code maintenance easier. Okay, so these are some of the advantages of object-oriented programming. Um, it's a very easy language. It's a very easy language to use. So let's go back. Let's some of the other ideas about object-oriented programming. Objects are reusable and are combined to create complex programs. So there are already like parts of the parts of the program, and now that were already written by somebody else, and then you just put it in your program with the permission, of course, of the owner of the object. Okay, the owner of the object, and then now that owner of the object will allow you to use that program. Like you can see me right now on this PowerPoint presentation. What you see is somebody created that object using Visual, and then maybe Microsoft bought this and put it here um, at the PowerPoint, so you can see me. Okay. So language translation. Now remember, all of this goes back to the machine language. Now we have two kinds of the language. The machine language is the language that really the computer can understand, and these are zeros and ones. Okay, so so you have the high level language like object oriented language, and then now what happens is that the computer cannot understand that, so uh, it has to be it's called compiler, like a translator to the machine language. So the source code program as originally written by the developer, and then now the object code in the machine language that can run by the computer. So there are two types of programming language translator. We have the compiler and the interpreter. Okay, so compiler and interpreter, two of them. To change the whatever language you have used to ML, machine language. Okay, machine language. Now, what is the difference between the compiler and the interpreter? Okay, the compiler translates the entire source code to machine language. Okay, but it does not execute it. Scans the syntax error. These are the advantages of it. It checks for errors, on the syntax. What are syntax? The way the language was put together, and generate error messages if there's a syntax error found. So that is a compiler. How about the interpreter? What does it do? So it scans one statement at a time, and if there is error, interpret it and execute the statement. Okay. If the one who was programming the computer didn't make any error, it will do it. But if the programmer had some problems or mistakes, goes to the program until the error and the end of the program is encountered. So it goes all the way to the end of the program, and then it stops. Okay. So here is the source code, and then the compiler, and then now you see this is now the machine language. This is now the machine language here. Machine language. This is the source code of the programmer here. Okay, it's easier for her to be able to give the instructions to the computer, and then the compiler changes it, and now the computer understands this language. See? Now software applications. So we have the software applications allows non-programmers to develop their own tools. Okay, application-specific software like Excel for mathematics or like Word. These are for writing memos, reports, and essays. These are application software. And then we have the general purpose software. Programs serve multiple purposes. Usually, I mean, they're already packaged. Okay, like application, mostly like application software, also like accounting, finance. Okay, huh? And then the general purpose software is that like Excel. Okay, Excel, you can do it. You can use Excel for any application specific software like finance and accounting. So, and then you have the package software, which is like CRM and other things that we can use for business purposes. So other productivity applications assist the normal office work. Okay, includes Word for processing, spreadsheets, Excel, and presentation tools like this one, PowerPoint, and other things that comes with Microsoft. Okay, word processors create text documents, spreadsheets like Excel. Um, Now this is very hard. What is Excel? Excel is a spreadsheet program, and then Word is a word processor program that will help you uh, make your letters, memos, and reports. So, and then we have other office productivity, presentation tools, file tools, okay, graphic tools to make graphic designs and others. Okay, and then we have project management to help track the progress of a project. Okay, so and then now we have the hypermedia and multimedia. Hypermedia features that enables users to access information by clicking text and graphics. So, and then we have Word, web authoring tools that to make web pages. So there are so many tools that we can use to give instructions to the computer for whatever you want the computer to do for you. Okay. So multimedia software handles many different types of data, like in education, research, and training exercises. Okay. So you can download this PowerPoint and read it slowly, you know, um, and then also you can ask me questions by calling me up. Okay. And then mash up an integrated application containing some of all the features of several applications. Provide enhanced features for the end users. Okay. Now, right now, so many people would like to write websites. They want to develop websites, and then there's a tool to make it easier for us to do the website. It's called Website Design Tools. Okay, Dreamweaver is one of them. WebEasy. Okay, and then we have Groupware, an application that enables sharing of ideas and group resources among group members. Like Google Drive. Okay, allows for remote collaboration. Groupwares. And then we have 3D Groupwares, global positioning software like GPS. Hey, where am I? Where am I? Okay, now somebody gave the instructions to the computer on. Now we have so many. We have Google Map. We have me. I like to use Waze. Okay, but right now I went back to Google Map when I'm driving because it tells you the where the traffic is. You see the road on red on Google Map. If it's red, there's a traffic on that road where you're going, and if it's green, there's no traffic. So that's good. And then now, so those are the applications. Now we go to the next type of software is the system software. Now we have so many systems like the Apple has its own system. Microsoft has its own system. Uh, the Microsoft Office or the Microsoft system. Right now, I think it's in this computer that I'm using is it can only have um Microsoft 10. Okay, now I think it's 12 as a system software. Okay, it runs the application like this application that's running right now. It's run by the system software. Okay, so operating systems we have the Microsoft Office, most important. Okay, so another word for these are platforms. These are platforms wherein the application software run. Okay, so here's the way it works. This is operating system, and then we have the application here, and then now you see these are the things. The system software that sends images to the monitor. Okay, how can receives input from the keyboard, receives information from the network card, from the internet, sends documentation to the printer, and keep tracks of files and directories. Okay. So application program interfaces software includes OS that can be used by the application program developers. Okay, the operating system. Now we also have utilities to perform like cleaning up the the file, all those files that you don't need anymore. That's what it does. Okay, so you have the application software here, and then you have the system software, and then now you have the hardware. Okay, now the computer is in operation. It works now as a computer. Okay. So OS must manage the system by allocating hardware resources to the application, and then OS provides several services including user's interface. Okay, the interface is what you see on the screen. Allocating virtual memory, the memory that is saved by the computer, and then you have the plug and play. Recognizes the run device as soon as it's physically attached. Okay, and then you have the drivers, software that enables the OS to control the device. Like if you add a printer to your computer, it needs a program that will interface with the OS of the computer, and the driver is the OS of the um, printer or the scanner or even the mouse. Okay, all of these have their own. drivers, or a driver is a software that enables the OS to control the device. Okay, the device, like the keyboard is a device. So different computers and types of microprocessor used by the OS. Now this is we have the Windows, Linux, and the Apple one. Okay, so these are the three um, system softwares available in the market right now. So you buy a computer for Windows, you can buy also a computer for Linux or Linux, and you can also buy a computer for Apple. Some of us would like Apple, or some of us would like to use Windows. Linux is kind of, if you are not really good in programming, or you might as well just buy Windows or Mac. Okay, so these are the kinds of popular operating systems from various hardware platforms. You have Windows, Mac, and the Microsoft servers, and then you have okay, the smartphones. The smartphones, you have BlackBerry, iOS, Windows, and Jelly Bean. And then you have the tablets. These are the operating systems for the tablets. These are the operating systems for the BlackBerry. Okay. Other system software, you have the compilers, interpreters, communication software, utilities, database management system like the Database 3 and other, big database management programs. Okay. Now, what are open source? Now, there are proprietary softwares that, proprietary means like Microsoft. You have to buy from them, to be able to use their product. Okay. You have to buy from them. This one is free. You can just use them. It's free on the market. Okay. Now Linux is a free software. It's a system software that's free, um, but you have to really be good at it to be able to use it, or else it's kind of hard. You still have to develop the limited number of applications to run on it, but you can like tweak it for other applications to run on it. But you have to be good already in programming. Okay, you have to be like a veteran programmer. Okay, now software licensing. If you have to pay for it like Microsoft, you can get software licensing, and it takes you have to they're like that there are annual fees. Okay, so this is about still about software licensing models, um, the kinds of contracts. These are contracts on the licensing of using of the software. Okay, so and then you have third-party providers. These are all the contracts that are available out there, and some of the software as a service. Okay, they have all these programs, and then you rent it from them. It's like renting an apartment or something. Okay, considerations for package software. Number one is the cost. Number two, the time to implement. The To me, it's like the cost of interruptions, modification cost of customized software. If you want to modify it for your business use. So here is what to look for. Okay, so fitness of purpose, ease of learning to use, ease to use, compatibility with other softwares, reputation of the vendors. Okay, some of them are crooks. Okay. Availability and quality of telephone and online support, networking, and the cost. If you're going to buy this proprietary programs, or proprietary mean there's an owner and you buy it. Okay, summary. Okay, so we have collective term for computer programs. Software means programs. We have a system and we have application and we have programming languages and software to be able to give instructions to the computer on how to do it. This is um, something that you learn, okay, whatever language you want to learn. And we have from machine language all the way to almost like human language. So some applications use custom design, many are packaged, office productivity tools, and then hypermedia. Okay, and then you have groupware, three-dimensional programs that we talk about, many application support. Most important software is the operating system. Okay, we have three kinds. We have the Windows, we have Linux, and we have the one for Apple. Okay, and then we have the open source that is available on the internet, and and then there are other all software is licensed. It's an alternative traditional software licensing, and then we have the ready-made, and then the problem of software piracy is still all over the world. Okay.